tell me why. Like, why are you giving? Why is this your input?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
It just is. That's my input.
We have our own different creative like processes, how we work through things. And when that happens, that's when the clashing happens. But I think that's what makes our marriage awesome.
Welcome back to the Maeband podcast.
That's right. We have very special guests with us today. We have
Jase and Rachel Bennett.
Woohoo!
You probably heard of them, right? Everybody knows them, right?
I'm sure.
I'm glad you picked up on the special part. That's what my mom called me. So
What?
that I'm special.
She is special.
So
we know
thank
that.
you.
Look at it. I mean, no, you may know it from the Ohana Adventure. It's a huge YouTube channel. It's done amazing. What year did you guys start?
2015.
2015. They're killing it. So Holly, as usual, she doesn't tell me what we're going to talk about. So I'd like to know as well.
Me and Rachel know.
I am just happy
We
to have
know
them here
all the
because they're awesome.
Yeah.
You'll get to see the kind of people they are. So
they're
it's
really
cool.
awesome.
We have trust.
We do.
We have trust.
We have trust. Issues.
Also.
Okay, Holly.
So today's topic is mixing marriage and business.
My favorite thing in the world. I may be quiet a lot this one because I have my own views.
To say.
I do.
Just kidding.
I have a lot to say that should stay up here.
There
Just
might be
kidding.
a fight breaking out.
Yeah.
now that
We might hear censoring words and
Yeah.
maybe sound effects. Boom.
No, our
Kapow.
first business, not our first, but actually
Our first,
our first business
when we were dating.
was oh my goodness, let's not go back that far. It was like dinosaurs that we were Fred Flintstoning to work with our bare feet. No, but our video store. I think that was our first time we actually meshed.
And what was that?
It was like a clean flicks. We had edited videos.
Oh, nice.
And we both ran it. We worked together. I actually handled a lot of
She
the
ran it in the
employees.
mornings and I ran it in the evenings.
And so how old were you guys? How many years married? Or were you
That
married
was
at this point?
2003, end of 2003
to 09.
to 09.
Oh, wow. That's a long
So
time.
we were a year
Yeah.
married.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And we started a physical retail shop, which
Wow.
has got to be
awesome.
one of the worst things you could ever do.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Not in your first year of marriage.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's fast.
Rach would sit there with Clay, our oldest at the time, and Clay would be asleep in a little bouncer thing in the corner. Rach would be nursing her, hoping people didn't come into our little shop. And it was pretty crazy.
That is
It
crazy.
was a little gnarly.
I was selling used cars in the daytime. I'd pick them up from the Kidney Foundation for super cheap. And this is on the North Shore of Oahu.
Mhm.
And I would pay students to go into Honolulu with me. And I'd stuff them all in the car. We'd go down there. I'd pay them $20 each. They'd drive all the cars back. And I'd sell those from our video store.
Oh, my gosh.
So she'd sit there when I went and did all the cars. So this is just the very beginning. Then when I finally got rid of that, I started doing real estate. So I'd work in the daytime on making our fortune while Rach held the shop down, paying our bills.
Wow. And so you did that and it ended,
Mm-hmm.
but you continued on doing businesses together.
After that, I ended up doing real estate and she kept asking to help. She's like, let me be your assistant. Let me do that. I'm like, no, I need to cuss at somebody that's not you. I need to get mad at somebody
That's
for
true.
not
I
getting their stuff
really
done.
wanted to help because I felt like, well, he was just overwhelmed. There was paperwork. There was things I'm like, I can do stuff. But that was a really strenuous one, which I'm glad that we didn't do together.
Mhm.
I'm really glad about that because there was some gnarly clients that were gnarly.
I was
to say.
dealing with the beachfront multi-million-dollar homes in Oahu that most of them are owned by criminals. Honestly, like one guy was in prison while I was doing all the paperwork to sell his home because his wife was divorcing him because he'd embezzled funds from his school district to buy this house. I mean, crazy
It's
people
crazy.
Wow.
cussing you out all day
Not
long.
the best
And
people
finally
at all.
started the skate company. Rach did not get involved in that one either.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness for that as well.
Okay. So were you not getting involved because of the first business, or do you feel like the
No,
first
I
business
think
went well working together? Or
I think it was
not?
the type of business, right?
Okay.
Like there was times where it was needed,
Mhm.
right? And so like with our physical video rental store, it was very much like I was able to manage and do like train employees and help. And he was able to
organize
do,
things.
different things. he's always had multiple businesses. So he's doing some other entrepreneurial business while I was doing that. And then I think because during that section, we had lots of children, but the pause.
We don't anymore.
We were having children,
All done.
right? Having babies. And then when that ended, it was just kind of the time where it was like raising and there was just a ton of little kids around.
Well, and you were doing homeschool too. And you were doing all that. And so you had awesome stuff going on without having to be involved in all my nonsensical other businesses that we have.
So I don't feel like there was anything negative that happened with us working together that I was like, we're not going to do that again. It was just more of a need and how we decided to grow the business,
And with the retail store, we didn't work together. It was one of us was
I
there
noticed when you said that.
and the other one was home.
Yeah.
And then the other one was there and the other one was home.
It wasn't needed that way, it wasn't a business. We did talk about like how to get advertising out, let people know about rentals, what kind of things that we could do to promote the business or grow it in certain ways. But it wasn't a business that took like creatively both of us and our input.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to like marriage and business, that was probably like a really safe business that didn't actually affect our marriage at all. Like it didn't really feel like we were stressed at any time because we were running the business together.
Okay. So which business would you feel like affected your marriage?
Yeah. Like if we jump to the now, because I know like Holly and I have done, like when I had a landscaping company, she like would do my books and she wasn't even really a part of the operations at all.
Right.
She was doing the books and we still had our issues. I was just like, she's like, well, this and then I'm like, no, I know how to do it. I've been doing it, And so like jumping to now to where we do YouTube and these guys do YouTube together, where two creative minds get together. Like, how do you reconcile? Like that, I just know that's where we run into things. I think our biggest fights were, as crazy as it sounds, were thumbnails. Like we do thumbnails and I'm like, are you insane? Yeah. It's insane.
How many times have I said their faces most of the thumbnails?
Exactly. And it's crazy. No, it's true because you're doing these thumbnails and it's just like, now we kind of have a system. It took us about 2 years where I'm the one that's usually on the videos and she's kind of the one that plans it. She's the strategist, the smart one. And I'm just the dumb one that runs his mouth. And so we've kind of set up that system so where like, she's like, okay, let's plan this. You do it. And then I would do it. And then I would change a few things. And then she's like, well, no, this, because Holly's very...
You didn't stick to the plan.
Exactly.
He didn't stick to the plan.
Holly has a plan.
We know this.
And that's the way it is.
I hate plans.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I feel like we are so alike.
Yeah,
like
we are.
both of us in our relationships are so alike because it's the same.
Yeah,
it's
and so let's talk about you guys. So how would you recommend to work through something like this?
We have kind of it's taken years and it's still kind of rough because communication, right? How I say something and how it's heard is differently depending on how you think my motive would be for saying that thing, right?
Yeah. And depending on the mood you're in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Very
the
true.
person receiving.
Yeah. And so it's sometimes we have to just say, okay, and we'll say it in the beginning. I'll be like, okay, you own this idea. This is your idea. You own it. I'm here. I will do whatever you tell me to do, but you own the idea. I'm here for this one. But then there's other times she's like, okay, you own this. And I'm like, okay. And then most of the time though, it's you own this. No, you own this. No, you own this. Freaking mom owns this. Right? Like it just goes
it's
crazy.
true because there's sometimes when you have like an idea and you're like, I think it's good, but I know that your input would help. But sometimes you're like, that's not the input I want.
Yep. Yeah.
Give me more input. Give me different input. Like, how can we, work through this? So
Or tell me why. Like, why are you giving, why is this your input? That's what I want to know all the time. He'll be like, this is my input. I'm like, well, why?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Like it just is. That's my input. Well, explain your thought process.
Yeah.
No, I will not explain anything to you.
I think it is. I think it's really difficult when you creatively are making something. And so when you have those two different inputs, right? We think differently. We have our own different creative like processes, how we work through things. And when that happens, that's when the clashing happens, right? Like I definitely do not think the way Jase does. He does not think the way I do. And
we don't even do math the same.
We really don't. We actually do not.
We don't do math
when
the same
we teach
at all.
homeschool, it's horrible. I'm like, I can't do this math. You teach them. And then he'll be like, all right, fine. And he'll try it. And he's like, no, I can't. You teach them. And so we just don't think the same. But I think that's what makes our marriage awesome is when we can work through those times that are really causing strife at the moment, it actually helps us in so many different areas. So when we have a big creative kerfuffle, I think we have to like both take a deep breath and just think like, okay.
No, I just leave the house.
He does a lot. But like it's more like, do you want this? Is this something that you really want to move forward with? Or is this something that I really want to move forward with? And then if it's something that I'm like, no, this is mine, I really want this.
Are you married to your idea more than me?
He'll back down. He'll be like,
I've never said that. I've never actually said that. I have heard that said between a YouTube couple.
Really?
That is horrible.
I have heard that before and it was crazy to me. So it was funny.
We've never said that.
Yeah.
But I think we've done a lot of thought work and emotional work ourselves, like therapy wise, so that we know and understand like, okay, I'm not offended if he's critiquing, or I try not to be offended. It still comes out, but I try not to be offended. Or if he like feels like this is really important, it's going to be like better in this way, then I'll try to be like, okay, all right, I'll try to accept the idea, Just kidding. Yeah. But it's real. I don't know. It's hard. And sometimes we still blow up. And
YouTube is the hardest thing we've ever done. And we have owned so many we've owned a craft company, a video store, my car stuff, real estate, skateboarding, fishing company,
internet.
Yeah, the internet one.
And you think
so many different things. It's absolutely easiest.
Is.
That is our hardest year of marriage ever was 2019.
Really?
2019 was madness, but 2020 was the easiest thing we've ever done because we got through 2019. So everyone else is like, man, being stuck with my wife inside is the craziest thing I've ever. And we're like, nah, this is the most we've ever gotten along in our marriage.
That's crazy. Okay, so like going back to 2020, like I know there are a lot of people that had issues in 2020 because they were stuck at home with their significant other. And I think as business partners, especially since we work from home as YouTubers, right? You're not traveling, you're not working in an office. You are at home. I am at home with Holly. Literally like 22 hours a day.
That sounds so torturous. I mean, like, what are we talking about?
Did that sound bad?
That's what my sister was like. You guys are like a married couple that spends a lot of time together, more than most married couples. She's like, you guys are really never apart. I'm like, oh, we kind of are.
We kind of enjoy each other.
Yeah, I mean,
funny thing.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, like, everybody was talking about, oh my gosh, I got to work from home. I'm with my kids all day long. I'm with my wife. I never get a break. I'm like, that's life, man.
We had so many friends that were like, no, I can't do it. I gotta be away from them.
I feel there was a lot of even divorce words going on,
Even their kids are like, I can't have my kids home this much. I'm like, so why'd you have so many?
Yeah.
Like we're with our 6 kids all the day, every day. Yeah. I mean, and we travel together. Yeah. So we are locked in a train car, in a bus, in a van, in a plane. And we love it. That's why we're moving. And our kids are super pumped to move because we're actually friends.
Yeah.
I think it takes a lot of work to do that, right? Like when you first started dating, I'm sure every couple wanted to spend every minute together, and then you just get used to being apart, having separate jobs. And it does take the same amount of getting used to being around each other all the time. And with YouTube, that just helped a ton, like we were together all the time, we were working all the time together. And then we decided to homeschool, and now we've got kids all the time, So 2020 actually was not super hard.
Yeah.
But I think it is just an adjustment. And we had our rough times during that, not 2020, but before that.
2019. But, so what, if you want to share any of your hard things, or maybe even just like, were there times you thought this isn't going to work? We're done.
I got fired from the Ohana Adventure.
Many times.
Can we do that? Can I fire him?
She fired me. She literally was crying and she fired me.
Well, the one thing that I feel has helped us is like, as we've been married how many years?
21.
20. No,
what?
20,
you don't
22,
know?
21 or 22. 21. That's a long time. Not long enough.
Good save.
Thank you. Thank you. But no, I feel like as we've gotten older, before we worked together all the time, I think we still expected the other person to be a little bit like us. Yeah. Right? So Holly was like, he needs to be a little bit like me. I was like, Holly should be more like me. And I think as we work together, we've kind of allowed ourselves to be ourselves. And I think that is honestly for us, that's been like the key. She's like, okay, Bryan, this is Bryan. Like, he's not going to do charts for fun. She's not going to study algebra because he likes it. You know, and that's, you know, that's the kind of
You
stuff
study
she loves.
algebra for fun?
No.
She just studies.
I like learning.
She loves
That's
learning.
awesome.
And I like just screwing around, you know? And so I think,
so what am I not going to do?
what are you not going to do?
Yeah.
She hates sitting and relaxing. She doesn't like watching movies unless it has like
feel
a purpose.
That.
Yeah, if there's a purpose to the movie, she can watch it.
Are
She's
you
like,
doing something on your phone while watching a movie?
No, but
Whoops, I am.
It has to she has to learn something from the movie to it be an acceptable movie.
Or know that it's like, okay, this is to spend quality time with my
Yes,
significant
that's where you've
other or
adapted.
my children.
Yeah.
But I would not be able to just sit and watch a movie alone by myself, especially if it like had no purpose in it.
Yeah, and I'm the
I
exact
got you,
opposite. I
Bryan.
could sit on my butt.
I could leave
myself.
at noon and go to a theater and just be like, what's
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing. I used to do that every Tuesday. It was called Tuesdays with Bryan. I would just go by myself. And sit and watch a movie.
I just love
Every
that
Tuesday.
you labeled your date
Yeah.
It was
with
amazing.
yourself.
It was
You did.
Tuesdays
An
with
actual
Bryan.
phrase.
And I didn't know about this for a long time. I thought he was working.
Yeah, I was supposed to be
You were
working.
like,
That's why
where
I was
have you
laughing.
been?
No.
I've been with
As
Bryan.
we now know, he was working. He was working on
Thank you.
Self-care.
Thank you.
self-care, self-love, self-truth, whatever those things are.
Jace gets me.
You
He
were
does.
working on it. I think those emotional states are definitely.
Well,
I
I agree, but I'm like, it should be like a massage or
Yeah,
it
so
should-
she has her own
Has to be
ways.
productive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be
Has to be
productive.
productive.
Like, there
Has
has
to
be a
make my
point
body
to
feel
it.
better. So I'm just like, I just want to turn my brain off. You know.
And let Hollywood do the work for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could
Exactly.
go and sit on a cliff and just look out and just like,
Yeah.
and that is wonderful for me.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So what like got you through it? Like what are the
Therapy?
things like
she
the
hired me back
tips
on.
and the tricks that like
After
got you
firing
through
me,
it?
she hired me
I'm
back.
not kidding.
And that's
Therapy.
how we got through it.
Lots of therapy. No, and I think like if you're not progressing or trying to say understand yourself so that you can understand how to communicate better with your spouse or your children, I think that is the key to healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like everyone needs professional like therapy, although I do feel like the world needs it. But honestly, like
Depending on the therapist.
we
man.
had
Yeah.
a
It's
really
a lot of
that's true.
wackadoodle people
That's a
out
big-
there.
We had a really good friend therapist that came, Taylor Hartman from the People Code. He's amazing. And he did a therapy session for us,
Our whole family.
our whole family.
had
That's awesome.
Team building games outside. We
Fun.
had.
That's cool.
He really worked
it was
on
incredible.
how to communicate with each other. And that was the key. Like we tried to think, how can we talk to this person so that they can understand versus like, I want to just be heard, you know? So like, how can we listen to them? How can we talk with them and relate with them and get to know each other better? And honestly, like that made the world of difference because
Our
that
whole
communication,
family
everybody,
was
like
crazy.
one sibling to another sibling, another different child to mom or dad or whatever. It was really great to understand like, oh, this child is quietly trying to say this. And in their own way, they actually don't communicate at all. Right. Like that's them saying they're uncomfortable in this way, you know, and we made it through a lot. I mean, like it was a trifecta of chaos that year of 2019 of like teenage problems to couple problems, all sorts of relationships in the whole family. So it just really helped us to learn and be a little bit more patient with each other. And like you were saying, Bryan, like letting Holly be Holly
Yeah.
and Holly letting Bryan be Bryan in certain things, right? Like we're like, okay, I'm not going to change you. I'm going to change me, work on me and having me be more patient, me be more kind, me be more loving. And I feel like it helped a ton.
I think he helped us understand because I try to take it into its most simplest form. It was he helped each kid understand how the other kid wants to be communicated.
Yeah.
And when they knew that, they're like, oh, if you back them into a corner, they will beat you over the head with something. Oh,
They're going to explode.
so I'm not going to back them into a corner. I'll get my little jabs in, but then stop there and we're good. Oh, when he's putting his jabs in, it's not because he hates me. He's just really antsy and agitated and he has to do those little things. It's not from a place of spite. It's from a place of fun. Oh, okay. So that's fun. So now they don't feel backed in a corner.
Yeah.
They get their little antsiness out, but they understand anyways. So and everyone needs to work on themselves,
Yeah.
right? But it at least helped all of us understand where each one was coming from. And so, my goodness, we had a lot less of anything negative.
a lot less strife in the house. I feel like, especially between us, because we want to love each other. We want to be around each other. And so we want to increase our relationship and not, get divorced. We don't want to end this. So we ourselves were trying really hard
I'm glad you
to
said
be
that.
a little bit more patient with each other as we're like, okay, Jase does need to go and just watch a movie and have Tuesdays with my
Just
Bryan.
Tuesdays with Jase.
No, it's already
Tuesdays
on
with
my
Jase.
calendar. I've been typing right here. Yeah.
And Jase would be like, oh, you're going to go work? Yeah, I'm going to work. He's like, okay, I'm not going to make you feel bad that you need to feel like you need to go and do some work for a couple hours, as long as I'm okay to go and chill for like an hour. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, you want to go chill. I want to go do this, like that's going to be really not fun, but productive. And that feels good for me.
It feels good, yeah.
And that doesn't feel good for me.
Yeah.
I'm so productive when I am getting things done because I'm very focused and hyperactive and energetic. And then I'm like, I got it all done so that I can go and sit in my hot tub at noon because I can.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it all done so I can do it all over again more today. It's like, I wanted to actually get it done, chalk it off and be like, guess what? I get to play Legos with my kid, right? Like something, or alone.
Yep, or alone.
Play with my Transformers alone. There you go. That's Wednesdays.
We'll have to show that.
Wednesdays with Jase.
Wednesdays with Jase. That's Transformer Days. One thing I wanted to talk about. So we've had a life coach for 2 years now, almost 2 years. And the one thing that he's taught us is, you guys have probably heard of it, the upper limit. You guys ever heard of that?
No.
Okay,
Not
I'm going to
that
let Holly
phrase.
explain it because she's super smart and can remember things.
So,
because
She studies algebra.
Because
for
last
fun.
night, she studies algebra. So last night we were talking to him and it was interesting because Rachel's exact words were 2019 was our banner year, right? You said that.
Yep.
That was last night. And so now we're hearing all the bad parts of 2019.
Of
how
having
it was
a
like
banner year.
It was our
trial.
worst year.
Exactly. So I'm going to have Holly talk about kind of the upper limit and that our coach's term that he always uses, how good can you stand
that's
it?
what I was going to say. It's
How good
basically
can you
like,
stand it?
how good can you stand it? Like, we always say we want the best. We always say we want like amazing things. And then when you get it, you're like,
That was so hard.
yeah. And you
Like-
just sit there and you're like, I don't know, like I need to maybe to ruffle a little feathers, or I need a little like opposition, or I need a little in
like
our
almost
mind,
you feel
yeah.
too blessed, right? It's like, I have it so good.
So we
Like,
create,
this shouldn't be right.
So we then create problems in our lives because we're not used to having it so good.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting because I
That
do
is
that a
so
lot.
interesting.
Yeah, it is, because everybody I've ever talked to, like as in a therapy thing, because I need a lot of it, is you self-sabotage like nobody we've ever known, right? So if I have it really good, I'm like, okay, why do I get to sit on my butt all day or do these things and be able to go on vacation, and these other people are like working their butt off, and I like, it gives me guilt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hate it because I want everybody to just enjoy life and have an awesome time. And so I'm like, okay, this isn't right. Something doesn't feel right. And then all of a sudden I bring on a world of problems, and it's insane, but I do it all the time. And Holly, I think she does it to a point, but she's like been trying to fix me for a while because
Fix
she's
you?
like, you're screwing everything up for us.
Help you.
Yeah. Help me,
Help.
not fix me. Sorry.
Just offer, I don't know,
Yeah.
advice, help.
That's like an interesting-
collaborate, I would say.
Yeah.
Collaborate. Yes.
Yes.
Let me help you. Let me help you help
Let-
me. No, I think that's so interesting. We have actually spoken about this, and maybe not just the same phrases that you're saying, the self-sabotage, or when it is good, we're waiting for the storm to come.
Yeah, that too.
Right? Like, oh my gosh, it's so good. The calm before the storm.
And then we create the storm.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
And I
exactly
find
what it
that
is.
so
I do that
interesting.
all the time.
That's exactly what
All
it
the
is.
time. And I try not to, but
And you create it like so many different ways, like
So
with
many ways.
fights,
Yep.
with relationship ways, or like even in your business, or like just having problems go wrong. Like you like literally create your
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
problems.
what I've done is in my head, I've like literally convinced myself the reason, like everybody has all these reasons why we're here on earth, right? God put us on earth to do this and this and this. Mine is I've narrowed it down to have joy. That's how I convince myself. God put us all here to have joy.
Well, it says that in the scriptures.
Yeah, it says that in the
like
scriptures.
It says God
Man
made man
is
to
the-
man.
Yes,
yeah, it's for
I
man to
have
have
joy.
joy.
And so I've basically boiled it down to one thing. God put me here to have joy. Whether I have joy or not, it's up to me.
yeah.
Right? Same with everybody else.
Yep.
Like they can work their 9 to 5. That might bring them joy. I don't know. They might not have joy because maybe they're not pursuing the things that God told them, right? Maybe like if I hadn't pursued YouTube, and I was told very directly to go after YouTube by God, if I hadn't done that, I might be really hating life right now. Right?
Yeah, you don't know.
And so it was just like, God put us here to have joy. And so that's one thing that I swear it's like flipped in my brain. It's like, okay, I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to have cool things. I'm supposed to hang out with my wife and be happy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I've done.
I get joy from being productive.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
High
She
five.
And
does.
then I come in and I'm like, okay, productivity is nice, but this is what real joy feels.
We'll show you what real joy is.
No, when we went snowboarding, snowboarding, she was petrified for 2 days and she was really grumpy with a lot of people around her
true.
because of the anxiety that she has to go and do this scary thing. We got on the mountain. She was 50 feet away from the ski lift. She gets a little wobbly. Her pole goes in. She shoves her poles into the ground. They hit her hips. She almost falls and she loses it
It's true.
because she wasn't in control, right? It was freaky. I'm not in control. But then I backed up, right? I let her have her moment, let that all happen. I said, all right, just come 10 feet to me. And then I'd move 10 feet, 10 feet to me, move 10 feet to me. And then she did a little turn. I'm like, oh my gosh, you did so good. And I was being sincere. She really was doing very good. From 10 seconds ago, the whole world collapsing, swallowing her and spitting her back out of
It's
frozen
baby
hell.
steps of progress.
Baby
Right?
steps.
Baby steps.
But then literally before she got to the end of that run, she was smiling. And I was like, do you see how huge your smile is? Because
That
for
was
you,
productive fun.
it was. And
You
for
learned
me, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
fun because to me, snowboarding, sports, these things for me are not, I don't do them to compete with others. To me, it's a canvas. This is where I create my art. When I go snowboarding, I'm all over the freaking mountain. I will be jumping over this tree, off that cliff, a 360 here. And I don't care if anybody's watching me, not watching me. That's not my motive. Other people on the outside do comment. They're like, oh, you did that right under the lift because you want us to see it. And I'm like, oh, actually, I don't give a beep about you, your ancestors, your family, your mom, your kids, your dog. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
That looked fun. I just need a release, which for me is also productive because I just get to go and let it out there. So mountain biking, snowboarding, surfing, those are things for me that I need. And her smile. So that was the first time I actually thought of the productivity part within these
accomplished it.
releases is, so I need that, but mine has to have some extremity to it.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's a bad thing because I have lots of bolts and screws in my body, but I've calmed that down. But so I had so much fun, but she was dreading going. It was only for me, right? Did you only go for me or was there a little bit for you?
I made a goal
seemed
this
like
year.
It was for me.
This is
No,
a
I made a
goal.
goal this
Had
year.
to do with the goal.
There you go.
I made a goal this
You
year.
made a goal.
To smile while I'm with my husband.
No. I made a goal this year to do scary things. So like things like I would normally just say no. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm fine. I'm actually comfortable not doing things, which I can totally do that. Like Jase will go mountain biking all the time and I'll be like, no, I don't want to go today. Like I'm comfortable not doing it. It does scare me. Right. But I'm okay. And I don't feel like I'm missing out. I don't have that like FOMO. But this year I made a goal to do physical things that scare me. Like we can start the business. I can work hours. I can try new things business wise, but physically, I don't have those pushes like Jase pushes himself. I usually don't push myself physically. And so this is my year that I was like, if something scary is offered to me physically, I will do
Doing
it.
And I snuck in, I read that journal entry and I was like, watch this. Just kidding.
Jase is sabotaging my goals.
Now she's writing in her journal. I'm pretending to be on my phone. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
What is she really saying?
That's horrible. That is so horrible. You have broken the circle of trust.
No more trust.
I'm fired for the third time.
You are fired from the marriage now, not just the channel.
I'm just enjoying this.
It's good. I think it honestly, it's really good. I love that we can podcast and talk together because it is therapy. It helps us to kind of take ourselves from an outside view because we can look at your relationship and go, oh, well, Bryan's doing this or Holly's doing that. Right. But it's fun to look at ourselves from an outside view. And I think that's what we've actually done the last couple of years as we've podcasted or even as we've done therapy or work through situations is okay, we'll even talk and sit and reflect on previous, last week when we had that argument, okay, that was hard. And I can see you really felt like this, or I know that you really wanted this to happen, or I really wanted this to happen. I think looking at your relationship and yourselves from just a third point of view is really, I think that's really healthy and can help you out.
Do you like to like dissect arguments like while they're happening?
Not while they're happening. If I'm in the middle of it, maybe not. But other people's arguments, yes, for sure. Yeah. Or after, yeah. I think we do. We kind of like break it down, and I like to do that. Jase is like, we're done with it.
Yeah, that's what I am. Holly, like
the argument is done.
Knew that I want to find out why this happened, what led to it.
She's algebraing you. She just turned you into an equation.
Yes, she literally dissects that while we're talking. I could ask her a question, and she just will look at me with this blank stare, like she's processing
this is what
something.
I do. This is where we align. During arguments, I can like, some of those weird GIFs that are out there where it's like there's the guy's face and there's like algebraic equations coming out of the screen. When we argue, I'm like, okay, so if I go here, this is going to go that. But if I do this way, let's try this one.
Yeah.
And so I'm very calculated in those. Rach hates that. She hates that I do that.
But I think we both like have our moments when we do it.
You should be very thankful because I am not calculated and I vomit words. Most of the time it's stuff that I don't mean, but I'm just like, this will be mean. Take that, Holly. I'm like, ooh, I should have said that. That's just kind of what I do. Yeah. So you should be happy with
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
That's really, I just spew whatever comes to my brain. I just throw it at her.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I feel like Jase is a little bit more calculated only because I feel like his family life growing up, it was a little bit more strict on that. Like you had to say specific words because I feel when we were first married,
you were judged by what
you were judged
really?
Very much.
Absolutely.
But when I mean, like growing up, like we call our siblings names all the time, like you're a butthead, you know, or whatever. Oh, yeah. And
I'm going to put your butt in their head. You want to be literal about that?
No, I remember a distinct, like not even argument, but like we were kind of, it was like lighthearted, but kind of a little bit meaning. And I called him a name, like a butthead or something. And he got severely offended. And I was like, and this was like new in our marriage. So I was like, oh my gosh. Well, like he was like, we don't like, why would you call a names?
Because hate, that word, I can't stand it. Mm-hmm. If you use the word hate, there is a reason for hate. So if our kids
agree with that.
I hate you. I'm like, oh, no. I'm going to give you a reason to hate me right now. And then you can judge the difference between the two. Which one would you rather have? Like, that word, I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm. So he's very calculated in words. So I think I've been a little bit more like sensitive to the words I'm using. Mm-hmm. I usually am a little bit more word vomit sometimes, but like not in recent years. I feel like I've been like more like, can't say that. No, don't say that. No.
What are you holding back? What are you holding back? Say it.
I try.
Say it. Bring it out.
Try to be better lately, but I don't know.
I'm such a weenie.
Jase cried because Rachel said, I don't like you.
She called him a butthead.
Jase got called a butthead and he wept in the corner.
Yeah, I left for 3 days.
It's okay. It happens.
I watched movies and mountain bikes by myself. Weekend with Jase.
It's now turned from one day into a weekend.
Yeah.
Boys trip with Jase. That actually sounds wonderful.
2023 with Jase.
Yeah. 2023 with Bryan. You'll find me in a cabin in Alaska just eating oatmeal and fishing all day. There we go.
That'd be pretty amazing.
Sounds horrible.
Right?
By yourself and just chilling.
I'm like, sounds absolutely horrible.
That sounds amazing.
We all have our interests.
We'll go get matching cabins next to each other.
There we go.
So we can be alone, but we know we're there.
Yeah. We know we're there. So we know. I'm like, hey, if I feel like talking to somebody, Jase is right there.
Yeah. You know? I don't want to talk to Jase.
Yeah, I don't
but
want
he is there.
But he is there.
Good.
In case.
Take the security blanket.
Oh my gosh. Like the craziest.
So do you feel like you're expert applying it? So I feel like we get knowledge and then like the intelligence comes in applying that knowledge. Mm-hmm. So do you feel like you're experts now at like applying this knowledge, or do you feel like you still mess up, or like, especially your kids and your family, like
I feel like
family.
It's even harder because I'm like, I know I should be better.
We're more aware.
We're definitely more aware.
Like with great, what is it? Power comes great responsibility. Right? Like when you actually understand it, you're like, oh man, I was a jerk because I know that was wrong. Right? Yeah. Like, or, I should have done. So there's even more to be aware of, which is hard. But I actually really enjoy it because we are much better than we used to be.
I think it helps you, like, as we have become more aware, it helps us to like really actually apply it the next time. Like it kind of burns in us a little bit more. Like, okay,
I haven't broken an appliance in 3 years.
I should have done that.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Wasn't it 21 that you broke that one? Was it?
Oh, he got called out.
Was it 20?
On camera.
It was
Just
19.
kidding. Oh,
There was an
everything happened.
Instapot that was on a countertop.
Oh.
We were traveling. We were up in Salt Lake. And when we have kids that lie to us, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But Rach has this truthometer that knows it's a lie before they open their mouth.
No.
Like she knows it.
I know.
And she'll call them on it.
So
And I'm like,
hilarious.
no, come on. And so that's where the biggest arguments in 2019, we had a daughter who loved sneaking around. And I like to give her the benefit of the doubt. She was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not happening. And so we had just had enough this one day. And there was this Instant Pot sitting on the countertop. And I was like, this is going to prove a point. Swoosh, right off the countertop.
The only point you prove with anger is that you can get very angry and destructive.
Point proven.
Did it scare them?
But it scares
Oh, yeah.
them.
No,
Everybody.
they weren't there. It was between us.
It was just between us.
So our most major fights outside of you two have been literally when he's taking a side of a child and I'm taking the opposite
Yeah,
side.
Oh,
that's a hard
Right. Which
Yeah.
I think that's for
That
most
is a hard one. Yeah.
parenting.
So then I went and took a 3-hour nap outside in the shade.
Did you?
Everyone thought I left the house. I did leave the house. I literally went and laid under a tree and cooled off and then ended up falling asleep. And then I woke up and I was like, nope, I'm going to let this hang a little bit longer. So I stayed out there for like, I don't know, 3 hours, something like that under the tree.
So to your question, I feel like as we have observed and learned about ourselves, we are applying it more. So those incidents happen less and less, but good and best and like better. We're still working towards that, you know, instead of we're not anywhere near like perfection. Like, you know, like the arguments still come, we still fight. There's things that constantly happen. But
Wait, we're human?
we're just trying to have them
perfect.
happen less often.
Some people may think they are.
That's what I like about these podcasts, though, is I think YouTube gets skidded so much and it's copy and not copy. It's cut that and zoom this and jump cut that and move this. And with podcasts, we don't edit ours.
Yeah.
We just let it roll. Right. And so we want people, the adults, right, to be able to listen to this and be like, oh, they are normal. Right. Because I think there's this lifestyle porn that so many influencers put out in the world. It's unachievable.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's all of these things, but all these other people are watching like, oh, they gave their kid a Ferrari this week because they ate a sandwich.
Yeah.
Right? No, nobody got a freaking Ferrari. Nobody did. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and so with this being real and being uncut and putting it out there like this, I think it helps the adults that hear our voice on their screen all day long.
Yeah.
Right? They go, oh, they're real people.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think it helps kind of cut down the unachievable facade.
Yeah.
And that's why I call it lifestyle porn, right? Like it's
not realistic.
It kind of is. It's not real.
Yeah.
And we
It
try to
looks-
say
it's
a
unattainable,
skit.
you
Yeah.
know?
but kids don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like even in movies, people, I mean, where was it? Sweden reported that Scott Sterling died after that YouTube video. Right when he got hit in the head with a soccer ball all the times.
They reported that he died.
Absolutely, it was fake. But no, they have a news report that he actually died. So that was sketch comedy and a news agency reported a death.
Wow.
Right? Like, and so I think this has been so much fun for us because, and we get a lot of comments about it like, hey, thank you for sharing that. Like, that was actually really real. That was,
I think we
anyways.
need to see more real like this,
Yeah.
you know, and realize like we're not perfect. You guys aren't perfect. There's no couple out there that like is perfect. You know, people do ask like, how do you do it all together?
None.
I'm like, we have a lot of
Nobody.
meltdowns. We are having fights. We do have arguments often. Our kids don't always get along. They fight constantly. Like if I actually put out how much they fight or how much we get like argue or whatever,
Canceled.
we would probably get canceled because it's realistic. Like,
Yeah.
and so you only see the happy and the joy, but there's a lot of fighting that goes on and, you know, a lot of realism that happens.
No, something I think I've talked to Holly about recently is what I've noticed with society is, I think you're 100% right. There's like half the population wants to see celebrity and wants to see the drama and all this other, and the other half wants to see real, right? Because they just want to be like, okay, these people are a lot like us. I don't feel so bad about myself because these people are on the camera and they're showing it. Like, you know, I've talked about, you know, I've done like videos, talked about addiction in my past and stuff. And we've had people reach out to us like, oh, it's important for people to see that people screw up and people are crap faces. I was going to say something else, but people can be bad people but it doesn't
Good
make them a bad
people
person.
can make bad choices.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. We
It's-
make stupid choices all the time.
So I think if people see that and they're like, okay, they're admitting the crap they do, and they look like fun people. They have a good marriage. Blah, blah,
I
blah.
break small appliances.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Only
Jase
happened
breaks
once,
small appliances.
but still.
If you take anything away from this podcast, Jase breaks small appliances.
I kicked a mannequin head once. That was Holly's.
You
I kicked him out. It was on the floor. and I
Well,
kicked
it dented the wall. It dented the wall.
But I didn't intend to
It's
dent
impressive.
the wall. I just saw a mannequin head and I kicked it out of anger. And
I didn't even know
maybe
why
it was
you
like
were
a
angry.
metaphor.
It was.
It was
This
a
is
metaphor.
metaphor.
It was
A
my
metaphor.
head.
It was actually very productive.
Whose head are
what
we
you just
kicking?
did right there.
It was
So,
productive. So I was happy.
Thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on here and talking about your marriage and business. And I feel like we really learned a lot.
Yeah.
And if any of you have any questions or comments, comment down below. Jase and Rachel also have their own podcast.
Yep.
We do.
The Ohana Adventure.
we're
Yeah.
launching it on YouTube very soon. Actually, by the time this goes out, hopefully I will have launched it
Nice.
because I
Awesome.
just need to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll
Just
have
do-
you guys on and we'll talk about other
Perfect.
fun things.
Perfect.
Awesome. We're excited.
We're excited. Can't wait. But
Okay.
thanks for doing this, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
you.
This was
All
so fun.
All right. See you
Thanks
guys.
for watching.
Bye.
Bye.